exactly. You can find them in Eastern Africa, so places like Kenya, Tanzania, Zimbabwe, and they like to live in rocks, so she's great at blending in with those. And on top of the fact that she's great at blending in, she's very flat, which is why they got the name pancake tortoise, which...
Cause is it as big as a pancake?
I guess depending on how big you make your pancakes, she could be.
Grace, what are the feathers doing in there?
On top of that, her shell and her plastron, the plastrons that bit underneath, is very, very soft. Oh, she might be getting a snack. Let's see. Does she want it? But this is maple. So typically, you'll see these animals living around 35 years in the wild. Does anyone have a guess at how old maple might be?
I wish I could feed him.
6 years old?
Stop.
Any other guesses on her age?
7, 8.
7? So I did say that they can live 35 years in the wild, but she's actually 36.
She's 36 years old?
Yes, she's 36
That's
years
old?
old.
Yeah.
The thing about these, a lot of the animals that we have here, a lot of times that we can double their lifespan. So that's kind of why she is kind of old for pancake tortoise, but she's thriving if you couldn't tell. These animals have quite a few predators. Mongooses, wild dogs, and sadly,
Cats?
humans.
Humans?
Yeah. So these animals are critically endangered. That's because of things like the pet trade. Also, they can only lay one egg
What
at a
about
time.
cats?
Cats? Not really. No.
Ooh,
More aggressive animals.
do dingoes eat turtle eggs?
Dingoes are Australian, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so they wouldn't be in the same location as this tortoise. But things like the pet trade, these animals are kind of getting traded around illegally. Thankfully, those Eastern African countries do have outlaws and bans on that, but you know, they're pretty small. It's pretty easy to get around that.
What else do they eat besides leaves?
Oh yeah, so they eat a variety of different vegetables. Personally, from what I've read about them, I've heard that they can also be opportunistic omnivores, meaning that sometimes,
all the leaves.
yeah, sometimes they'll eat like insects, but that's very rare, and I think that's more of necessity rather than wanting to eat an insect. Oh, is that a flamingo feather? So that's a fun fact about flamingo feathers. I'm gonna just hold on to that for a second. So if you guys see these and bigger feathers around, it's actually illegal to take these feathers. So that's why I'm not gonna let you take this home with you. Jenna might be able to explain that a little more.
We'll go over it in just a little
right
bit.
after.
Yeah.
But does anyone want to touch Maple?
Yes, please.
Yes, right. So we're gonna go around and we're gonna do very similar.
Are we gonna touch
Sit
the
down,
back
yeah.
or the back?
Oh yeah, I'll get right into
Sit down,
it.
Grace,
So,
over here.
when we go to touch her, it might be easier to lay down. Basically the same thing as what you did before. Take one hand, 2 fingers, and then go down her back. The thing about tortoises and turtles, they can actually feel every time you touch their shell. I know it's a common belief that they can't feel anything, but they actually can. It's made out of the same materials as our nails.
Yeah, but that's
So people compare it to if you were to scratch your nail, it's like you can feel it. It's pretty faint. So that's the estimate of what they would feel. So I'm just gonna go around
Here, sit down,
and
Caitlin.
that 2-finger touch down.
You can touch him.
Stay away from her head and away from her butt. Just like that. Perfect.
Mommy, you should touch it.
Okay. Oh.
Does she bite?
Yeah.